each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning to you. Good morning to me. Good morning to all of us. I'm cranky. I'm not cranky, but I am a grumposaurus today. So, yeah. It's all right. It's all right. I'm allowed to be a grumposaurus every now and again. I'll probably get over it though. Yeah. Happy Monday, start of a new week. I'm getting some stretching. It's not warm enough in here yet. I usually crank the heat right before I come on. So I think more than anything, I'm probably wore out. This is kind of my day. Monday's kind of my day off. I don't really have much going on. I don't. So we will see. I don't know. There's stuff to get done, but I'm not. Some days like this, I don't even know what needs to get done. It feels a little overwhelming. So it's part of my anxiety that things just aren't going to get done and da 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 da. And I walk around, it's like, oh, that needs to be done. That needs to be done. Oh my gosh, so overwhelming. Those little things add up pretty darn quickly. So, and people are like, well, you should relax. Well, I don't know how. There's some days things just don't satisfy me, if that makes sense. What's up, kitten? Do you need food? Need food? I know one food bowl is empty, huh? Oh no, you're gonna starve to death. Oh. Do you know that Dad's cranky today? I'm not just cranky, I'm also a little depressed. It was a tough week, man. Yes, it was, huh? It was a tough week. Yeah. This is my emotional support kitty. He tends to. And don't tell anybody, but he's my favorite. And all he wants to do is chew on my tassels. That's all he really wants. Right? That's all you really want, huh? Can I get kisses? He's like, no, you cannot, Dad. All right. I gotta get started, buddy. Okay? I love you and this is very comfortable, but I gotta get started. Oh no. The way everybody wants to watch videos today, probably okay that I'm sitting here pet my cat for 20 minutes and you watch. I've been watching a lot of kitty cat videos lately. That one girl singing, I think it's hilarious. It makes me happy, so I listen to it a lot. So if you're here, welcome to Daily Trudge. It's warm in here. It's warm enough in here. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm your host. I would say host with the most, but there's a lot of hosts out there. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. The host with the most, I mean, that would be like I have the perfect wife for me. See how that works? It's okay to have the perfect wife or husband for you. Right? So, let's do a little bit of undressing. Purple rain Purple rain. Ow! He wants my attention, so what? What? We're gonna be in the big book. We're gonna be in the big book. I will give you the page 132. 132 is where we're gonna be in the big book. I just picked a page out of the big book. It was not random. I did a little searching, put a little effort into it, right? So let's get started. We have been speaking to you of serious, sometimes tragic things. We've been dealing with alcohol in its worst aspect, but we aren't a glum lot. We gotta have some fun, man. You know, we deal with some pretty serious stuff. Heck, I come on here and talk to you guys about some pretty serious stuff, and if we can't kind of laugh, then it's going to turn into resentments and these other things. But sometimes we got to confront what it is that we're doing, right? But when we can get to a spot where we can kind of chuckle at some of the past actions we've taken, then we're on a good road, man. It used to be that, if I accidentally did something silly in front of people, I would get embarrassed and upset. Now I laugh along because it's funny. Yeah. But we aren't a glum lot. If newcomers could see no joy or fun in our existence, they wouldn't want it. We absolutely insist on enjoying life. We try not to indulge in the cynicism of the state of the nations, nor do we carry the world's troubles on our shoulders. When we see a man sinking into the mire that is alcoholism, we give him first aid and place what we have at his disposal. For his sake, we do recount and almost relive the horrors of our past. But those who have tried to shoulder the entire burden and trouble of the others find that we are soon overcome by them. Yeah. I can't take everything on. I can't save the world, man. Can't save the world. I wouldn't even know how. I got to think a little smaller. I got to think a little smaller on what I can do in my area. What can I do in my own community? Right? Yes. So cheerfulness, and after, make for usefulness. Yeah. Isn't it easier to kind of get things done when you have a better attitude? All right. I was just kind of talking about, I don't know. I got, I'm kind of grumpy this morning and, things like that. But that doesn't mean I need to have a bad attitude about it. And it may be a little bit easier. Good cat. He made me cold again. Jerk. Because he rubbed his tail on my head and it gave me chills, and now I'm cold again. You're mean. And now he's sitting on my hoodie. Right, but having a better attitude, a good attitude, tends to help me get through the day, even when there are kind of tough days, So outsiders are sometimes shocked when we burst into merriment over a seemingly tragic experience out of the past. But why shouldn't we? We have recovered and been given the power to help others. It's great news for us. The power to help others, especially when others can't. And there's a lot of people in this world that have servants' hearts they very much enjoy helping others. But we seem to be uniquely qualified in the area of alcoholism, right? When we entertain a negative thought, what we're going to get is more negative thoughts. When we entertain a positive thought, then what we get are more positive thoughts. Okay. That's why sometimes you would find me, I had to have a talk with Pastor Marsha yesterday about some things going on in the recovery community, and it always helps, man. It always helps because it reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, and then I don't need to go out there and fight shit. I don't need to. You know, there's there's plenty of people in my life that support what I do and love me for who I am right now. That I don't really need to go out and seek that attention. I'm just gonna start. I want to call it what it is, man. I mean, yeah, sure, somebody had to do it, but from this point, there's not much. From here, it would be fighting. You know, I want to go down somewhere with a bullhorn, and I always want to do that. And I'll tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. These people have talked so much shit about me and done so much stuff that I would love to put them all in a room and confront them all at once. I don't care that there'd be 15, 20 of them that be sitting there with all their minds. That doesn't bother me. In fact, it kind of excites it. The thought of it excites me. And what is that? I want vengeance. Vengeance, which is revenge and justice put into one. Okay? But it's still not, I don't want to say the right way, but I don't necessarily think it's the wrong way. But can I believe everything that Dion is saying in his head? Hmm. Hmm. You know, um, some stuff that they're doing just it pisses me off, right? So I got to move into acceptance with that. This weekend, I even said, okay, fine, God, if that's what you really want, if you want them running around killing people and doing all this stupid shit, it's your world. You go for it. Yeah, yeah, cynical that sounds. You know, what I was saying is, God, will you give me my revenge? It's what I'm saying. You know, so and I could have blown this up 10 ways to Sunday, man, and I kept my mouth shut on the whole darn thing. It'd be at this point, it'd be easy, right? But that would be it'd be, even wishing bad karma on people is just something I gotta watch. Well, karma will take care of them. See, see how that just doesn't sound or sit right. It just doesn't. So I'm curious as to is chat not working or yeah, it probably is, and people are driving and doing stuff. That's what I'm going to presume. Because I went in and put all the settings. You should be able to pretty much say anything here now, unless of course you're peddling shrooms. They've been trying too, but they don't show up here. They get blocked at my page. All right. Everybody knows that those in bad health and those who seldom play do not laugh much. And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now too is I want to play. I want to play, but nothing sounds fun. I think it's me just blocking me from being able to do that. It really is. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe I always felt like I wasn't allowed to have fun the way that I wanted to have fun. You know. Anyway, so let each family play together or separately as much as their circumstances warrant. Don't think it's working. Oh, Leisure, are you on and it's not working? Here. Do you mean I sent if Scott, if you're on, I sent you a link. Not by I just did it just in case. Do you mean chat? Is chat not working? All right. All right. Just double checking that. I don't like it when my peeps can't talk. That pisses me off. Okay. So I know you're here. Chat is not working. What the fuck is that all about? Give me a second here. I'm going to do something weird. Okay. Good morning, dear friend. Good morning, Amber. Good morning, Leisure. It's Foggy here and Jack Frost. I'm also a liberal. Karma doesn't exist. I don't know why it's not posting, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can see him over here. I can see him over here. I think it was because it was something that I did. So I will double check it. I will double check it. But maybe what I can do, because I even put something in there too. It doesn't let me reset anything as far as chat goes. But here, I'll just show it to you. Watch this. All right. Okay. So, all right. So there's the screen. See, you can see it's posting. It's just not going to restream for some stupid reason. Participate, moderation, activity, reactions. This should not be. It should not be screwing up. Um, um, okay, there's nothing I can do about it right now. So we'll get back to this. I apologize. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to this and I will flip back and forth and look for your chats. That is how we will solve it. But it is good to have both of you here. So now we have a third person on. Oh, it's probably me. It would be me. Okay. Everybody knows that those in bad health and those who seldom play do not laugh much. So let each family play together or separately as much as their circumstances warrant. Now, it couldn't have been what I did because yesterday people were chatting on there and it was working. So I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I don't. Welcome, chat. Yep. See. All right. So just double checking it. We'll get to this. Don't people fret. All right. We are sure God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. We cannot subscribe to the belief that this life is a vale of tears, though it once was just for many of us. But it is clear that we made our own misery. God didn't do it. Avoid then the deliberate manufacture of misery, but if trouble comes, cheerfully capitalize it as an opportunity to demonstrate his omnipotence. I still want to say omnipotence. I still want to say it. Right? Yeah, life sucked for a long time. It sure did. It was nothing but bad anger, crying. Usually during the day, I would get about 10 minutes of relief. That's about what I got. My wife and I timed it. And because, and that relief came between, I don't know, the fourth and fifth drink, somewhere in there, between the fourth and the 10th, somewhere, depending on what I was drinking. But see, once I hit that spot of okayness, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. Okay. So I don't know. I think we've all kind of earned the right to be happy. And what I'm hearing them saying is, we've been through a lot and we've earned our happiness. Now that we understand that I'm the one creating the problems in my life. So, when I go after something that I feel is wrong or whatever, that's me manufacturing my own misery. That's what they're talking about. Yes. Sometimes I'm even aware that I'm doing it and I still don't stop. So now about health, a bodily burn by alcohol does not recover overnight, nor do twisted thinking and depression vanish in a twinkling. It's taken me years. It's taken me years, but I've been through a lot in my life, um, more than some, less than others. There's some people that have told their story on the podcast, and and I'm just like, Jesus, man, wow. Especially women, and the way that women are really treated and abused in a lot of these relationships, because men tend to think they have the right to lay hands on women and shit, you know. Um, Now I'm not gonna. There was one time I'd had enough from somebody. I was dating someone, and quite often she would hit me. She'd throw shit in my face. And one time I often slapped her. I had enough, and I slapped her. It was not the right thing. That is not justified. I ended that relationship immediately because of my reaction. You bet I did. And I was at a wedding. I was at a wedding, and I fled. You bet. Because yeah, that's jail time. That's jail time, man. You know. Um, and I'll admit it's the one time, and I'm not proud of it. I am not. Well, she was hitting you, and it doesn't matter. Not in my book. It doesn't fucking matter. So, all right. So we don't recover overnight. Twisted thinking. Oh, I got a lot of twisted thinking. Yeah, I still do. You know, um, it's often I'll ask friends questions. Why is my phone blowing up? Final notice, unpaid toll balance. What? Okay. What toll? All right. Yeah. There and Leisure said, God grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change. And that was about the chat. We can't change the chat. So, all right. Um, we're convinced that a spiritual mode of living is the most powerful health restorative. We who have recovered from serious drinking are miracles of mental health. But we have seen remarkable transformations in our bodies. Hardly one of our crowd now shows any mark of dissipation. It's weird the human body can bounce back. Yeah. My my numbers for my liver, they're fine. It restored. I was able to think again. I was able to walk again. But I found that when we work on our spiritual malady, everything else tends to fall into place. But it's that spiritual malady that I must overcome first. But this does not mean that we disregard human health measures. God has abundantly supplied us with fine doctors, psychologists, and practitioners of various kinds. Do not hesitate to take your health problems to such persons. Most of them give freely of themselves, that their fellows may enjoy sound minds and bodies. Try to remember that though God has wrought miracles among us, we should never belittle a good doctor or psychiatrist. Their services are often indispensable in treating a newcomer and in following his case afterwards. Absolutely. Yeah. Here's the thing, you got to be honest with the doctor. If you're not honest with the doctor, they can't help you. They might know that you're lying, but they don't know what you're lying about. They're not mind readers. They're doctors, not psychics. Can't read your mind, so you got to be honest. And it's a wonder that doctors are rude to people with alcoholism and addiction, because we did nothing but fucking lie to them. We demanded things. We didn't listen, right? Because we thought we knew better. I'm not a doctor. I don't always agree with my doctor. So you know what you can do? You can get a second opinion. There's always that. Absolutely. One of many doctors who had the opportunity of reading this book in the manuscript form told us that the use of sweets was often helpful, of course, depending on upon doctor's advice. He thought all alcoholics should constantly have chocolate available for the quick energy value at times of fatigue. He added that occasionally in the night a vague craving arose which would be satisfied by candy. Many of us have noticed a tendency to eat sweets and have found this practice beneficial. You don't hear it very often in meetings anymore, but I used to come up all the time with newcomers. Yeah, keep some Jolly Ranchers in your pocket. If you have a, if you have a, if you have um, suddenly you want to have a drink, put that in your mouth. Okay, is because alcohol is 80% sugar. You're not just detoxing off alcohol; you're also detoxing off sugar. You know, that's why when it came to the detox, I'm like, give them a fucking candy bar, would you? Trust me, it'll ease a lot of things. Oh, that'll just give them more energy. They're 30 years old. Sugar doesn't affect them like a 2 year old. Okay, we've been drinking. They don't understand. They don't understand. All right, now we give out sweets and detox. A word about sex relations. Alcohol is so sexually stimulating to some men that they have overindulged. Couples are occasionally dismayed to find that when drinking is stopped, the man tends to be impotent. Unless the reason is understood, there may be an emotional upset. Some of us had this experience only to enjoy in a few months a finer intimacy than ever. There should be no hesitancy in consulting a doctor or a psychologist if the condition persists. We do not know of many cases where this difficulty lasted long. Yeah. For me, I confused I alcohol and sex went together. It did for me. That was my other addiction. Okay. I don't say I wouldn't say I was a full blown sex addict, but gosh, alcohol certainly brought down my inhibitions. That's for sure. In fact, when I first got sober, not when I first got sober, it was a couple times why my wife said, sometimes I did you wish drink so we could have sex. That well, people tend to go through this. It's an emotional thing. It's a very emotional thing. I know it was for me, right? And I must be getting better because I was willing to talk about sex. Usually I'm not. All right. Or I didn't used to be. Now I don't mind it so much. The alcoholic may find it hard to reestablish friendly relations with his children. Their young minds were impressionable while he was drinking. Without saying so, they may cordially hate him for what he has done to them and to their mother. My kids went through this. They didn't right out tell me, but their actions showed that they didn't like me very much. That has since changed. You know, coming up on, I have 9 years in a couple months. January, February, March, April. So in actually 2 months exactly on the 16th. So, right. The children are sometimes dominated by a pathetic hardness and cynicism. They cannot seem to forgive and forget. This may hang on for months, long after their mother has accepted dad's new way of living and thinking. You know, where did they learn that from? Me. You know, maybe it's a survival thing for them, and they don't want to get too close to dad again because every time they got close to dad, he treated them badly. Yeah. Excuse me. In time, they will see that he is a new man, and in their own way, they will let him know. When this happens, they can be invited to join in morning meditation, and then they can take part in the daily discussion without rancor or bias. From that point on, progress will be rapid. Marvelous results often follow such a reunion. None of my kids are interested in God. None of them are. At least not in the sense that I am. Okay. Of course, I don't quite understand. You know, they don't quite understand what I say or do sometimes. You know, I think my kids tend to think I'm kind of religious now. But of course, to them, that's certainly better than the drinking. Certainly better than the drinking. But I also treat them a lot differently. And I'm sure they recognize that also. And I could be wrong. Maybe they do understand it's a spiritual program. I did force them to go to Alateen for a little bit. Well, I didn't. Shannon did. It's a lot easier for her to force them to do things than me. When I force them, they're like, fuck off, and they rebel. When she forces them, they do it because, well, because she's Shannon. If it works, it works. Maybe I shouldn't be the one to tell them what to do. Look how my life ended up. Yeah. Whether the family goes on a spiritual basis or not, the alcoholic member has to if he would recover. The others must be convinced of his new status beyond the shadow of a doubt. Seeing is believing to most families who have lived with a drinker. Here's a case in point. One of our friends is a heavy smoker and coffee drinker. There was no doubt he overindulged. Seeing this and meaning to be helpful, his wife commenced to admonish him about it. He admitted he was overdoing these things, but frankly said that he was not ready to stop. His wife is one of those persons who really feels there is something rather sinful about these commodities. So she nagged, and her intolerance finally threw him into a fit of anger. He got drunk. Now, we all know that's just an excuse, and it's going to go on to say that. Of course, our friend was wrong, dead wrong. He had to painfully admit that and mend his spiritual fences. Though he is now a most effective member of Alcoholics Anonymous, he still smokes and drinks coffee. But neither his wife nor anyone else stands in judgment. She sees she was wrong in making a burning issue out of such a matter when his more serious ailments were being rapidly cured. We have three little mottos which are apropos. Here they are. First things first. Live and let live. And easy does it. All right, friends. Well, without the chat, this sucks. So I'm going to end it. We'll see if, hopefully, it fixes. I'll do some things that I'll take care of it. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. No, I do. Peace out.